Anytime that someone is running for an office of the government, you're necessarily running for a position in an institution that has the monopoly over the legitimate use of force in a particular territory.
You know, Ronald Reagan had that famous quote that said that if you're an 80% friend, you're not a 20% enemy. But when we look at the scorecards and the performance of our legislators over the last several years, we find there's only 3 or 4 legislators that have consistently performed 80% or higher.
No matter who you are, you have to protect against Lord Acton's old dictum of power corrupting and absolute power corrupting absolutely.
And so you have to ask yourself, at what point does the so-called Republican really become a Democrat activist in disguise?
A lot of politicians go into office thinking that they're going to do the right thing. But once they get there, a lot of times they're alone. And what we do with the GRA is we try to find good, principled people, help them get elected to office after our members endorse them, and then we want to support them and remind them that they aren't alone.
It's difficult for those voters who are just trying to lead their normal lives to keep track of absolutely everything that's going on under the gold dome. The GRA is involved at the grassroots level, keeping track of what it is that your elected representatives are doing.
The Georgia Republican Assembly is committed to unifying Republicans around having great candidates. We want to have the Republican Party brand be a luxury brand where people know if they're voting Republican, you're voting for somebody who's going to help your life and help your community.
We do this not because we're trying to make money like a lot of the political industry that we're fighting against today. We're doing this because we want to make the world a better place. We want to make Georgia a better place. We want to actually advance the principles of our party. Well, the Republican Party has certain standards. They believe in the Judeo-Christian foundations. They believe in the right to life. They believe in gun rights. They believe in smaller government. And we've also become recently champions of the election integrity movement, because as we've seen since 2020, there are some alarming reports of fraud in our election systems here in Georgia.
And when Republican politicians ignore policies that advance that, it hurts our brand. It makes us look bad.
Sometimes these things seem so abstract, but when you realize that if we don't advance the principles, if we have elected officials that are advancing primarily democratic principles, well, that is translating into real-world harms. It means that people are losing more of their freedoms, they're losing more of their money. It means babies are murdered and are dying. That's a real-world problem. That's just not something abstract and theoretical.
Well, I joined the GRA because for decades I saw Republicans winning elections, sometimes handily, but we could never win the policy wars. And after a while, I began to realize this wasn't just bad luck on our part.
The endorsement conventions that the GRA hosts are one of the most valuable things that we do for our members, because we're enabling them to vet the candidates in a primary and find out which one is the best.
Most of politics seems to be about who can buy off politicians or buy endorsements from paid groups. But we're there allowing our members to be the ones who vote. We only endorse with a 2/3 vote of our members. And our members are people just like you.
What the GRA does is that it provides resources for grassroots activists to be effective activists within the GOP. We're the ones informing the public about this is what the convention process is like. This is what Robert's Rules of Order is.
Not at the state level until recently has there been a lot of scrutiny applied to the local legislators.
The GRA puts out scorecards and directs people to objective, useful information on how the politicians who work for them are voting.
Two of the ways that Republican Assembly members have distinguished themselves as extraordinary volunteers and as those that prioritize principles above pragmatic power seeking. That is what we're all about.
If you want to ensure that true Republicans, people who believe in Republican principles, are the ones defining the Republican Party and representing you, join the Georgia Republican Assembly. We're the Republican wing of the Republican Party.
Fear no